All right. Hopefully, I'll remember to turn that off. All right. So, is everybody ready? Everybody have the documentation, the papers.
Yes.
Ready.
All right. So,
Gotta have my dice nearby though.
all right. So,
If
the chapter begins with Ed Helen hearing a series of faint but determined knocks at her door. Mrs. Eddie! Mrs. Eddie! It's the crack of dawn.
Yes.
It's the crack of dawn. Everybody's starting to get up. You can detect the faint aroma of breakfast in the air as you lay in your bed within the Briar Rosa.
Oh, okay. Smells good. Question. How long have I been playing, and how much gold have I been acquiring, being as the musician
It's
in
only
the?
been a night. Whatever you attained the night before is what you have now. It's only been one night since you came to the city. You still have
Yeah.
the incessant knocking at the door, a youthful voice, somewhat familiar, as he continues knocking. Mrs. Ade, please come
yes,
to the door.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Kind
As you,
of throw on the clothes and open the door.
when you open the door, you look down and you see the messy mop of blonde hair that accompanies the young guard courier named Stinsky. He peers up at you with a small scroll clutched in his small right hand, and he offers it to you. Summons to Graf Brewdog, Mrs. Ede. He wants you now.
All right. Thank you, Spinsky.
The name's
I think-
Stinsky, ma'am, but nice try. And he gives a slight bow of his head, and instead of turning to his right and going back down the stairs to the tavern, which is still relatively quiet considering how early it is, he instead goes to his left and further down the hall, where you hear him knocking on another door, to which a certain cleric hears the
Yes.
knock.
Alright.
Mr. Joran! And Ed Helen can be doing
I-
whatever she needs to be doing.
I will be
I put on clothes.
I will be making my way towards the door. Jordan has been up fairly early. He gets up early to prepare his spells and pray to his god, Torum.
Mhm.
So that's what he's been doing this morning.
Mhm.
So he gets up, makes his way towards the door, and slowly opens it.
Yeah, as you do so, you are greeted by the somewhat dirtied visage of a boy on the cusp of his teenage years, rather wiry. He's barefooted, covered in the dirt from the streets. But he has on his side a courier bag, and from it he reveals a summons, and and he says, "Here you go, Mr. Joran. A summons to the Mr. Graf Brewdog at the Legionnaire's command, by the urging of Cathra Brewdog."
Excellent. I'll take that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And he gives a quick bow of his head and then begins scurrying down the hall and out the Briar Rosa.
I'm getting breakfast,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna try negotiating for breakfast.
All right, so you come downstairs. The once jovial and very well-stocked tavern from the night before is now rather empty, save for guests of the inn. Got the odd old gentleman there, a young traveler there, and behind the counter is the rotund gentleman you'd seen the night before that had been working alongside Rosa. He's bald, clean-shaven. He's rather rotund, with an apron over his chest, and with big old chubby mammoth mitts. He rubs his hands together and looks to you. What'll be for breakfast? He looks at you with a lazy eye.
Hmm. Whatever surprise me.
Right. He
Ooh,
giggles to himself and he turns away and goes to the kitchen.
wait, do you serve alcohol? Spirit.
It's,
He stops in his steps and looks at you with a frown, as if
She smiles.
it's a smite early for drinking, but we are tapping. He says with his jowls jiggling with each word spoken.
Jiggly jowls.
Jiggly jowls.
Oh my.
Sir, I always start my morning with a nice pint of mead.
Some hair of the dog.
Right. Okay then. I'll get you something to soak that up. And he goes back into the kitchen, and then he reappears with a freshly baked loaf of bread and plops it down on the bar top. Surprise. And he goes to get your mead.
Okay. She she just eats it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, what is Joran doing?
well, Jordan is getting ready. He finishes up what he was doing earlier, and he gets his chainmail on, which is kind of a slow process.
Oh yeah, that definitely
Um,
takes a bit.
And just for everyone who's not introduced to Jordan, Jordan is about 47. He's a little bit older, has
Mm-hmm.
salt and pepper colored hair, just kind of clean kept, but looks kind of grizzly at the same time, just because of his age, kind of getting older. So after he gets
Cool.
done gets done preparing his daily rituals, he makes his way out the door. Oh, I would like to open the letter though that
Okay.
he
You
received.
you reveal the scroll. It's been very well written, with a very elegant yet uniform hand, um, as if written by a scribe as opposed to a personal correspondence. Um,
All right.
it says it says to Valenfort's newest visitor. I urge you to meet with Graf Brudok, brother of Cathra Brudok, in order to seek the cause behind the various corruptive incidents as of late. You bear with this document, bears with the blessing and protection of the High Priestess of Valenfort. I bid you well, and don't die. Cathra Brudok.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I remember her telling me that it was in the Legionnaire's tower that I'd be.
Yes, the Legionnaire's command.
Yes. So, I'm gonna make my way down to the Legionnaire's command.
Okay. And as you do so, as you're passing through the tavern, you smell a loaf of bread and you see the portly bartender serving up a pint of mead to. How do you want to describe? Well, I'll wait for your description. You can't really see much of you right now.
She. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, you want me to describe her?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. Okay.
Go ahead. So, Jorn is now on his way to the Legionnaire's command. Do you do anything else other than eat your bread and drink your mead?
I finish up my meal. I pay him.
Mm,
How much?
That will come to um, 2 silver pieces.
Seems reasonable.
Mhm.
Um, she reads the letter.
Um, she, this letter is far more abrupt and to the point as opposed to that of Jorn's. Get over here, Graf Brudok.
She, with bread still in her mouth, she heads to the Legionnaire building.
Just like every anime. I'll be late for school. Okay.
Piece
So,
of toast.
so as you both eventually arrive at the Legionnaire's command, Jorn, of course, being the first, having gotten quite the head start. Um, this is the first time that you have been within the Legionnaire's command.
Yes.
Um, as you open the double doors and travel inside, you enter what looks to be a waiting area. To your left and directly to your right, there are benches, seating areas for those wishing to speak with officials of Legionnaire's Command or just family members of the people staffed at the barracks.
I
Off
don't
to
see any. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh no, go ahead and
Continue on.
ask your query.
I was just. I don't see anyone around. As I walk through there.
Um, you see a few people here and there. You see one person standing in front of what looks to be a notice board into the far right corner, which has postings for freelancers or those seeking recruitment by the Legionnaire's Command. And just beside that is a clerk's desk with a very tired and weary-looking official sitting behind it, munching on a piece of stale bread. Though before you, at the center of the chamber, is what looks to be the main desk, and behind it is a rather happy auburn-haired maiden with a matronly aura and a pleasantly plump physique. Her hair is held within a ponytail, and a pair of thick lens spectacles donning her nose bridge. And this is the main reception. This is the receptionist.
All right. Well, I would like to approach the receptionist.
As you do so, you take notice of her desk. Um, it's a semicircle in its shape, rounded before her with various documents strewn about. She's going about her business, scribing, and unlike the clerk by the notice board, she looks very chipper and bright. And perchance you take a look to her right on the desk, and you notice what appears to be a lady bellflower that has grown from the desk itself, with a makeshift pot formed around it, with soil and that has been wet with fresh water. As you approach the receptionist's desk, the bespectacled maiden lifts her head and greets you with green eyes. And with a blink, she sits up straight with her hands folding onto the desk. Oh, what can I do for you?
Good morning.
Ah,
I
morning
have
to
an
you.
appointment with Grob Brudock, and I proceed to show her the letter that I have.
She takes it from your hand and begins reading it, rather deft, and she gives a steady nod of her head. Ah, yes. Ah, you're the newcomer. Ah, I've been rather eager to meet you. I am Lady Bell, the command's receptionist.
Nice to meet you, Lady Bell.
And she gives a slight bow of her head. And at this moment, a certain elf plods her way on into the main hall.
Um. Oh.
Yes.
She knows the place. She's pretty familiar with the place, so she goes right up to the reception, not really knowing that to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So just seeing someone standing there as well and coming up beside him and getting Lady Bell's attention.
Which
Coming up
isn't too hard.
beside you, you notice that she is quite short at about, well, not too short, but like at 4'11". 4'11", with dark brown hair. The thing that would kind of show her to be not of this area is her pointed ears and her kind of wild attire with hide armor and weapons on her back, as other people in the town don't seem to carry them so
Yeah,
brazenly.
yeah, she looks very much
She,
like a wilder, with her hide
yes,
armor, her bow, and dagger at her hip.
yes, um, kind of wild brown hair and copper complexion, simple, very common wood elf traits. Um, Hello, Lady Belle.
As you and Helen approach the desk, um, the receptionist's eyes brighten once more with excitement at seeing a familiar face, and she almost jumps in her seat at the sight of you. It's like, Miss Ed Helen, it's good to see you again. I take it you're here to see Mr. Brewdog as well.
Yes,
Ah,
I
good.
got this letter.
Then you and this gentleman share the same destination. And she motions towards the chainmail-clad cleric to your
Yeah,
left.
she looks up. Good morning.
Hi, morning. I didn't catch your name. I'm not
Eddie.
sorry, Eddie. Well, my name is Joran. So
Alright.
you have business as well with Brudak, Grob Brudak.
Oh, yes, the dwarf with a lot of weapons, as I
I haven't
recall.
haven't actually met him myself.
Well,
So
let's go see him together.
Mm.
yeah, should be interesting.
Yes, and as you
Um,
speak, Lady
going.
Bell rises up and she begins to lead you. Okay, go. What is it?
Oh, is he gonna describe himself?
He just.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
I can give a further
All right, go ahead.
description. As I mentioned before, um, he is an older man. By older, I mean about 47. His hair is starting to gray. And honestly, all that's left is just a few streaks of brown in his hair, kind of as a last remnant of his youth. He is weathered, but you can tell he keeps himself clean cut. That he takes, time to make sure he's presentable, and he's wearing chainmail with mostly white. Anytime there's any kind of material, um, just a real clean attire with a white gauntlet with intricate metal workings, with the symbol of his god, Torum, on it, and he carries a shield on his back, kind of Link style, like from the Legend of Zelda,
Oh, yeah.
and a bow staff.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And as she begins to lead you off,
Sorry.
Jorn, you see that there are two staircases behind the desk that lead up to the second floor, further up into the tower in which the Legionnaire's command resides. She takes you along the left staircase. Everything is
I'm
made of
going.
fine hewn stone and reinforced with thick wooden foundations. What were you going to ask, Erica?
That as she does, well, as Ed Helen walks by, she's gonna wave her hand and she's gonna add a few more big Lady Bell flowers to the flower that she made on her desk.
Mm. And you'll be quite the surprise for Lady Bell when she returns. Um,
Yes.
and
Then I follow after them.
and as you do so, she goes along. There are doors lining the hallway, right and left. You see men in the Legionnaire's command, tabard and chainmail, wandering up and down as they prepare to fulfill their duties for the day. Some of them are rather hasty. Um, Others with this look of weariness that can be seen in their eyes, as if they haven't had a good night's sleep. Some even appear haunted as you walk past them. An expression you, Jorn, is familiar with as a veteran of the
Absolutely.
battlefields. Um, Eventually, you come towards a rather large, thick wooden door along the right side. That's about midway into the hallway. Um, and as she approaches it, there's a large steel knocker to which she lifts and bangs it thrice. And from within you hear a deep voice. Aye, what is it?
It's me.
It's her and one other. Let 'em in. Let 'em in. And Lady Bell pulls open the door, and as you two walk in, there's a yelp of surprise back in the waiting area, and after she ushers you in, she looks hesitant over her shoulder. I'll be right back, Mr. Brewdog. I feel there's something for me to tend to. And she closes the door behind you. And as you enter Joran, you find yourself in a room that looks akin to an armory. There are weapon racks, armor racks that line the walls around you. All for various races, all various weapon types. Some even old and look more like collector's pieces as opposed to weapons that are used in this day and age. And sitting behind a short but thick wooden desk is a very stocky dwarf of muscular physique. He has a shaven head and... just give me a moment. He has a shaven head, a tame, albeit very long beard that rests at his abdomen in its length, and he appears to be wearing a tunic with no sleeves, exposing the musculature of his thick, stocky arms, and a pair of golden van braces around his forearms. With intense brown eyes, he scans you both and gives a firm nod of his head before looking to you. So you're the one from the war town, are you? He says, addressing Joran.
Yes, I met your sister, I believe. Is this I'm sorry, are you Brewdock?
Aye, I'm Grav Brewdog.
Grab Brewdock. Yes, I met your sister, Catherine. The woods nearby here. She helped me fight a battle, which very very impressive. But she has sent me to you because I have information that pertains to certain events that have happened as of recent.
Yeah, right. She relayed as much. She didn't shed much detail, but she does intend to in the documents. Never know who might pry. And as you begin to, there's another knock at the door. And this one, unlike the poised knocking before by Lady Bell, this one's a little bit more panicked. And he speaks, Aye, I'm in the middle of something here. And it's opened by a very frazzled-looking by the door is opened by a very frazzled Lady Bell, and it's just like, I have another guest for you. He carries with him very strong documentation. Like, aye, let him in. And she looks hesitant over her shoulder before slowly opening the door. And as everybody looks out, you see nothing until you hear a very annoyed hiss and your eyes wander down towards a hooded, leather-clad kobold of black scale.
Cobalt?
Mm-hmm. Take it away, Brandon.
What you see might at first look to you like a halfling wearing a dark hood and a cloak. It stands a mere 2'6", but as it draws nearer you realize it is no halfling. For as it reaches up to pull back its hood, you see that its hands are small and sort of dark, scaly even, leathery. And as the hood comes back, you see that its face does not have the shape of anything human. No, instead, it is a reptile. Its face is shaped akin to that of a dragonborn, only much, much smaller. Covered in black, completely scaled from head to toe, it peers at you with piercing yellow eyes. And it says, "Hey,
I'm here.
Right, that you are, says Brewdog, as he looks worriedly at this creature now standing before him. Perhaps the first kobold to ever enter Valenfort. You have documentation?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay. And he slowly extends his hand out for it.
Jordan's kind of taken back, thinking to himself whether he should even introduce himself at this point. So you just
Eddie
kind of
is-
see this look of confusion on Jordan's face as
Yes.
Kobold enters the room.
Eddie is completely fascinated. She gets down on one knee to try to get eye level with it. It's like, good morning. What are you? I've never seen anything like you before.
The kobold gives this elf a glance, but very brief. And travels across the room in careful steps before extending his arm with a note in hand towards Brewdog.
Brewdog pinches it, his large dwarven hand, rather mammoth in comparison to the smaller kobold, but plucks it and begins reading the document. Go ahead. Erica.
It could talk. Oh, okay. I go back to Goran. What? Did you see that? It could talk. It's like, never seen a creature like that before. It's like a lizard.
I knew they were smart, but I'm a little uneasy about this one. Last time I saw one, it actually robbed our family. So I don't know how I feel about this, to be quite honest.
Oh, okay.
And as Brewdog is reading the document, you see at first that his face is still dominated by an expression of confusion and an urge to go for the nearest axe within the room, which is quite close.
Naturally, I'm a little nervous right now.
Yeah, in basically a death room. But as he reads the document, his confusion begins to fade. And give me one.
Uh-oh.
And what was
Okay, no, some weird noise happened, and I thought maybe I got disconnected, so continue on, sorry.
Yeah, it sounded like thunder.
That's what I heard too. Is
Yeah.
Erica still with it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, just make sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that sound was.
And the confusion begins to fade away, and slowly on these worn, old dwarven features of his, a look of realization and clarity takes his eyes. Slowly, he folds the document, opens a drawer of his desk, and sets it inside, this time a little bit more relaxed, though albeit tense from the sudden surprise of a kobold entering his tower. He gives a nod to the kobold. Right. I guess you'll be helping us on this little operation then.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Give us a name. I know it.
Oh, well. I don't know if you guys can even pronounce kobold names, but you can call me Aachen.
It's nice to meet you, Akin. Yeah,
My
I probably
name is-
butchered that.
My name is Ed Helen, but you can call me Eddie or Helen. Aachen.
And
Yeah, good enough.
I'm Jordan. It's nice to meet you, Akin.
Yeah. Never thought I'd see civilized discussion between a human, a wood elf, and a kobold. Ugh. What the hell is this world coming to? Yeah, and
Hey, I'm just as surprised as you are.
Brewdog motions towards the elf. Tell us of your experience in your homeland so that everyone here is on the same page.
Oh yes, I'm from the Crossgar Forest, and actually, the Crossgar Forest would have a reputation of being n- people that enter there never really come back. Um, and there has been rumors that people live within the forest, but they've never really ever come out. So and recently there's been some sort of strange occurrence, and I really don't want to talk in character about the whole thing, but
That's
she basically describes the natural creatures like a bear and plants start have these roots that grow inside of them, black roots, and they kind of take on this evil presence, like they're like kind of possessed, and they've been attacking her people.
does
And
does she say this verbally as far as the events that were going on, or are you just saying out of character?
oh yeah, out
Some
of
of her
character.
backstory.
She's
Sorry,
Okay,
sorry, sorry.
yeah,
she's paraphrasing it basically.
yeah. No, that's what I was
Yeah, yeah,
wondering. I'm paraphrasing her backstory. All right.
Okay.
yeah. So she's paraphrasing. Well, I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah.
but um, she spoke to the guardian of the forest, um, and he told her to look for the druids of the Blight, which are which she actually doesn't know who they are, but um, the guardian says that what's going on right now is called a blight, and it'll get worse if they don't seek out the druids.
Mhm. And
I mean,
yeah, that's basically a good way of saying it. And Brewdog nods his head slowly, and he looks to Joran. He says, um, "Seems you and my sister have had sort of a run-in with these creatures as well. What is your accounting?"
Well, that is correct. I was passing through here, um, and through the battlefields, I was attacked by a ghoul. After dispatching the ghoul, I followed trails into the woods and I came across three occultists. And after taking down one of the occultists, the other two were performing a ritual, and the ritual was complete, and the leader of the cult flew off, and that's something I actually need to talk to you about.
Mm.
I seen him turn into a raven and then fly off to Valenfort,
Uh, Look of concern.
interrogating.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very, very much of concern for that. And after interrogating the last occultist that was alive, that didn't flee, I found out that he said there was many more that were in different cities, and that there was more than he even knew of. I couldn't get any more information out of him. At that point, I met your sister, and we battled him and some form of abomination that was in the forest that rose up after the ceremony was complete.
Mm.
what what do you what did he what do you mean when he said there are more of them?
I take it that there was perhaps different sleeper cell cults that are in different regions that have similar goals in mind.
What ritual were they doing?
I was unfamiliar with it. It was some form of a chant that I've never heard before, and it seemed to have a severe effect on the forest, so much so that we had to flee from it. Um, it
What
was
what
it
happened
was
to
some
this forest? Sorry.
not quite sure. Like I said, this was only yesterday. It might have got a lot worse since then. Um, since then, I have been in this town since last night. Only just arrived to give news since um, Catherine told me Grob could possibly help or knew of more events like this.
Mm. Burdock nodded and said, "Sadly, we've been short of hands to see to these problems. There's been patches of corruption being reported from all over the region. I had thought it isolated only in the south, but now we hear of reports from you, Jorn, and from some of our spies of the war-torn being affected as well. What this corruption is, we haven't a clue. We've never experienced such a darkness as this. Seems to be transforming nature, making it evil. That is the only way my scouts have been able to describe it. My men have been assisting with the military here in order to secure the countryside and ensure that whatever corrupted monstrosities this corruption spawns, we will be able to fend it off. And the dwarf now looks to the very short kobold with a firm nod, and I'm guessing that is why your employer sent you here.
Yeah, I was kind of drafted into this.
I'm not one to refuse help when it is needed. I assume that your employer sent you here because they were confident in your ability.
Hey, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't confident, or if they didn't have confidence in me. Who the hell do you think would send a kobold here anyway?
I have not a clue. And he says this with a hesitant glance to the side before...
I like him.
Hmm.
He whispers to Joran.
Look, the fact I'm here means I must be good for something.
Obviously. After you gave me your report, Eddie, I decided to send a couple of my scouts who had just come in from a patrol earlier. I sent them down to the sewers to look for these Blight druids. One of them actually knew where these druids like to commune with the surfacers. It's down in the sewers. The only thing is, I sent him out to find them at the lick of dawn, before the sun even rose. It's been 3 or so hours since then. He hasn't come back.
Well then.
And he urged me that the trip wouldn't take long.
Well then, I'll go looking for them.
All three of you will, because I'm not going to send somebody down there alone. Even before.
Can I ask, Rob? Can I ask one question?
What is it?
I know yesterday when I was talking to Catherine, she was interrupted before showing me to a hotel or a place to stay or whatnot by a messenger, and I overheard them say that another unit had gone missing, and now you're mentioning a further unit 3 hours ago this morning?
Yes. They've been dropping off the grid. Most of them local. I'm very concerned, but the guard is too concerned with protecting the civilians, and my boys are too busy out in the fields. No one is willing to go down into the sewers, which is the only place I can think of is where they might be. The city was built... Yes, I'll give you a copy of the route that my scouts took when they went down. Just keep your eyes peeled. This place was built on the ruins of an older city.
How many is in that group that we'll be looking for?
There's a small one, just 2 scouts. One of them was named Rosk, and he vouched for one of his companions to go with him.
Rosk. Sorry, I'm writing down. I'm writing down.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Try and keep
We'll
an eye out
find
for
them and
him.
bring.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that will definitely be the mission. Is there any supplies that we may use to further that mission? I know you said, you're short staff on able bodies, but I wasn't sure if equipment would be an issue.
We have some supplies to spare. Few as they are, we can't dull you out with weapons or armor. He he smirks to himself as he motions towards the weapons and armor here. This is my personal collection, and
Understand?
most
And
of
what
the
an amazing collection it is.
and most of these wouldn't serve you in battle. They're memories of an old soldier. And he
Understand.
pulls out a bit of papyrus and scribbles down um, a list of things. The quartermaster can spare some, however. That might aid you. And he hands off the slip to whoever's willing to take it.
I'll go ahead and reach out and take the list then.
You see on the list 5 potions of healing and oil for lanterns. That's all I can believe that the quartermaster can spare.
Oh, that's understandable. I just want to make sure we're successful in this mission.
As do I.
So, thank you.
And then he looks to Aken and he warns, you stay close to them now. My guards will be slow to learning that there's a kobold walking amongst them. Understood?
Yeah, that's what I got the hood for.
Right. Then he pulls out another document that looks to be a map of sorts. He makes some markings and hands this off to. Well, damn! None of you really know the city, do you?
Not a clue. Didn't have time to look around.
And then he offers it to Ed Helen, and then you go to one of my boys at the front. Tell them that Graf Brudok urged you to take you to Manhole 17.
Right.
No, 17.
That's where the journey starts. Follow that map to the dot. It'll be a bit of a trip, but hopefully it'll be worth it.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
And then with a
And
wave
we'll
of
bring back.
alive or dead, just bring back my boys. And he sits back in his chair as if submitting to the fate that he might have lost some more of his men. And he gives a wave of his right hand, dismissing the gathering. You'll find the quartermaster at the room at the end of the hall, to your right.
All right.
And with that, you
I-
step out into the hall.
I walk out.
Mhm.
And we'll walk
Yes.
out to the hallway.
Aken.
Yeah?
Aken.
What?
What did you experience?
Speak
about
up, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. What did you experience with this blight? Did it affect your people?
No, I don't know anything about it.
No.
Sorry.
All right.
All right.
Oh, all right.
Look, I'm just here to kill stuff, okay?
Oh,
And what exactly would you say your specialty is?
Killing.
Any particular flavor of killing with a sword, staff, bow, perhaps?
Stabbing, shooting, a little bit of everything.
shooting with a
Having this conversation
arrow.
as you're going down to the quartermasters.
bow and arrow.
I got a little crossbow.
And he pulls it out of his cape to show you. He's got a hand crossbow.
Oh, impressive.
And on his other hip, he carries a short sword.
Very
Both are
nice.
Very
usually
nice.
concealed by the cape.
Well, then we're gonna be perfectly fine. We're gonna go to the quartermaster.
Okay. As you open the door, you see behind a caged, fenced off supply depot of sorts with what would have been filled racks of armaments and supplies but now is looking quite scant. There's few crates lining the shelves behind this fenced-off area. There's only about 8 feet in length of walking room for you to walk behind this fence, and behind it, with a slot left open for transferring over wares, is an old bearded man with flourishing gray hair and a tunic with sweat spots in the underarms, and several fingers on his left hand are missing as he's scribbling on a piece of parchment, with a younger lad moving to and fro behind him, gathering what supplies and whatnot. He looks up to you. You see that his right eye is sealed shut from a scar, and his nose has been broken quite a few times. He's like,
What you up? Got business?
Oh, hello. We are actually sent here by Brodok.
he extends his hand.
Give it here. Don't got time.
And they give.
Jeez, he's worse than me.
So I reach
There,
reach
Kobo.
forward and hand him.
His single
to
good
you.
eye widens at the sight at the voice that at first he didn't hear the source of. I mean, he didn't see the source of. He just leans forward until his head is pressing up against the fence.
Hey, there, Kobo.
He leans back,
Yes.
takes the script, and he slams his fist on the desk, and the young strapping lad in his teenage years, immediately, as if familiar with the call, comes up, grabs a slip, and he nods to you all. Like,
Actually, young man, and good sir, can we actually have 2 more healing potions as we are heading to the very dangerous cisterns underneath the city, and we're actually going to retrieve some of Brodok's men, and in case
as
they are
you
injured, I
continue
was
on,
wondering
he
if
cuts you off. Like,
Hey, knife ears. You want more? Give gold. Not made of money here. Give it.
and he
I look at him and I say, and how much gold is Ross's life worth? Just so I know, so I can pay the appropriate amount.
he thinks to himself.
Oh, we can tell.
200 gold.
Oh, that's really steep.
Aye. We're running out of potions. You think you're the only ones guzzling them down?
Well, I'm not trying to guzzle down your potions for personal gain. I'm trying to guzzle down your potions to save a young boy named Rosk and his companion who are stuck down in the
In the
sewers.
city?
Yeah, roll for persuasion check. I forgot to do that.
With advantage?
Yeah,
With
let's go with advantage since you both are going at it.
First one was an 18.
Oh,
The next one's a 1.
the 18 definitely goes. Is that plus your charisma modifier?
My charisma is 2.
So it's a 20.
Ooh, nice.
The barely visible features of this old man, hidden behind a rather bushy beard, softens for just a moment. And he looks off to the side.
Don't know this, Roscoe. But you're doing good by the command. 100 gold.
How much gold?
100.
Have that much gold because I have 9 gold in my pouch.
Just for 2 more potions.
Hmm.
Wait for 2 more.
Perhaps you could
What?
haggle him down even further. I don't know.
Can I do an insight check to see if he's like just hiking up the price?
Go ahead.
6. No, 20. Oh, 20. Yep. I meant plus 6.
Oh, plus 6. Okay. Oh, 20. He is indeed. He's very stringent and very set in his ways. You're getting the impression that he's giving in terms of wanting to give away these potions, but he's definitely selling them for more than they're actually worth.
I'm going
Well-
to. I'm going to look down at.
And Aachen,
at both.
with a history of poisons and maybe a bit of alchemy as well, might be able to attest this as well.
A test?
I'm going to.
Attest to it, like say that the price is a little too high for potions of healing.
Listen, we're doing a favor for Commander Brugo. And you're trying to hawk us these potions way more than they're worth, jackass.
How would Commander Brudok feel when he hears that his men's lives cost 100 gold to you? I assume he wouldn't be quite happy with you after hearing that, wouldn't he?
I'm trying
gonna do
intimidation
Yes.
check. Just saying,
with advantage.
Yeah, maybe we should go tell him right now. You know, you're doing yourself a favor, fucking everybody else over, just pocketing all that
Yeah.
extra coin.
Come on, let's just go.
Yeah, like
Let's
go
go
ahead.
tell Commander.
Go ahead, intimidation check with
D20?
advantage. Yeah, D20. Add your charisma modifier.
I got a 15, and my charisma modifier is +1, so 16.
With advantage means
Wait,
you can roll
that was
twice.
me.
He's
Wait,
the
that was me.
I,
Wait, can I do?
Second time was another 15. Holy crap!
yeah, you can do this as an assisted roll, so you can roll 2
Oh,
at
okay.
Helen.
Oh, crap. Wait,
It's
Plus-
with advantage, so you can roll
Oh.
again,
oh, Jesus Christ.
and that's plus your charisma modifier.
Wait, we'll just go with Joran's.
Well,
no, it's too late.
I'm not actually disputing the price. I thought it might be an asset to us to have, but my god, Torum, he'll protect us. So we have all we need. And I just kind of take the rest of what he is willing to give and just leave it at that
Okay.
for myself. I mean, you guys can still argue. It's just Jorum's made peace with we might not get extra assistance.
Yeah.
You
Did
take.
my
Just
my 2 attempts fail?
he rolled a natural 20 on his intimidation check.
Oh shit!
So,
Wait a minute.
What's your name?
okay, first, the young lad slides over the 4 vials of. Wait, no, I said 5, didn't I? 5 vials. 5 vials of potions of healing, and a small canister of lantern oil. And the lad gives an understanding nod of his head to everyone else before stepping back and twirling his finger beside his head in that cuckoo motion before walking off to do his motion. And
I've got my eyes on you. And then she's kind of does the eye-to-eye thing at the quartermaster before following after Joran.
well, allow the quartermaster a response, if you please.
Oh, sorry.
It's like after the kobold gave his threats, along with the elf, it's like, ain't no way Brewdog is going to put his word, but your words over mine. Not the words of a knife here, not the words of a scaleback. None. Now, get your asses out of here before I take some of those potions from you. He says with a snarl, spittle drooling down the corner of his mouth before he snarls at you like a beast and walks off.
What an asshole.
Come on, let's go.
All right.
I follow after Joran. Right, go to the manhole.
Yes, as you
Right.
wander on by, see Lady Bell at her desk. She appears a bit more relaxed, though. As she peeks at Aachen as he passes by, she looks a little worried before smiling up at the wood elf with a cheerful smile and motions towards the flower that has a few new adornments upon it. And she gives a bob of her head in silent gratitude with a flush to her cheeks. As you wander out of the Legionnaire's command, you see 2 guards standing at attention at either side of the double doors, both adorning the Legion's colors.
Good morning. could one of you lovely gentlemen take me to manhole 17?
And one of them, the one to your left that you addressed to, is like, manhole 17, you say? All right. It's coming from Brewdog, because I'm not given permission to move anywhere else.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
By Commander Brewdog's orders.
He bobs his head. Didn't really need much convincing to move away from a door that he's been guarding all morning. He immediately takes you down. He takes you further to the to the southwestern edge of Allenfort, which I hope to have a map up sometime soon. Go ahead.
Haken, thank you for trying to help me.
Did my best. That guy was a jackass.
He was.
As you're walking around now, Akin, you see that that Valenfort itself is very much a fortress. It is built in between two massive, high-reaching spires of mountainous ridge, and the walls are made of a sturdy stone, reinforced with dwarven engineering that you may be familiar with, considering your past. Having your fair share of interaction with dwarves during your youth. There's a good deal of civilians walking around, carrying on with their day. There's guards from both Valenfort and the Legionnaires' Command patrolling the city streets. It's a generally clean-looking city, well-controlled, well-maintained, and well-cared for by the people of Valenfort. He leads you down the various alleys until you eventually come to this intersection of alleyways where they all seem to collide into this small divot into the ground where there's a large manhole, and inscribed onto it is the number 17. The guard pulls from a nearby crate a crowbar and begins lifting it up, and as he lifts the lid, the stench and unpleasant aroma of sewage greets you as it wafts up from the hole. The guard himself wrinkles his nose. Ugh, don't envy you that. You sure you want to go down there?
Still smells better than a trog.
Thank you, yes.
I will take your word for that.
The guard gives his nod. Go to seal it up once you go down. Don't want anybody falling in. So.
Oh, fun times.
Yes, indeed. All right.
At this point, I make sure everyone has their healing potions. I know there was 5 of them. I can heal myself for the most part and other people. So I'd like to make sure that you guys had the better share of them. I guess we do like 2 and 2, and maybe me with one of them.
Several, yes. Ed Helen herself and Akin, just in case you forgot, you've received potions as parting gifts. Just.
Oh yes. I also.
Still the same.
Yes. I'm just reminding them in case they didn't mark it down on their inventory.
So how many should I have? I don't remember.
You received 4.
Oh yeah.
You received 4 from Olivia. All right. So go ahead.
I actually have 3 already, and I have some healing spells myself. If you want to give me 1 and give more to Aken.
I'm good.
I just pocket mine quietly.
Yeah, I'd still I give you guys 2, and I don't kind of take no for answer on that. I don't say anything more. I just hand them both to you, and I take just the 1.
I accept mine quietly, pocket them quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, you all descend into the sewers.
Fire hands.
Yes, Yes, and as
Which
you
is fire.
as you touch the metal of the ladder, you feel it slimy and covered in the grime of the sewer. And as you descend
Oh,
down,
this is gonna be fun.
there is no walkway for you to walk amongst. It's just flowing sewage that reaches up to Joran's calf in in height, which might come to the thighs of a certain kobold. Um, as you sink down to the sewage, it's constantly flowing. It's a mixture of cool and warm sensations as varieties of sewage are draining into it. All kinds of scents and aromas, and you see debris floating alongside, um, tossed
Wait,
aside
is there
food.
light?
There is dim light in the. There's
Oh, then I can.
just it's faint, and the light comes from crystals that illuminate a light faintly, just enough, and non-flammable as a bit of a precaution. Um, Following the directions that Brewdog had made by Ed Helen, held by Ed Helen, uh, you travel through the sewers for some time, um, coming across the odd rats, um, the gurgling of pipes spitting out their sewage. Um, did somebody leave? Okay, no.
So I was trying to figure out what that sound was. Just kind of looking around.
Oh, Erica's voice chat just went off.
Yep.
Ah,
It looks like she might have lost her internet because it says she's like completely offline.
She's online on my Steam, but yeah.
She's online now. She just
Okay.
got back on mine.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Mm-hmm.
Give me a moment. I'm going to just re-invite her in
And
case.
off away again. Oh,
Yeah, wait.
she might be having internet trouble, my bad.
Yeah, sometimes she does. Her Wi-Fi is a little shoddy.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, does she have like a BattleNet app on her phone?
Don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't know.
I'm going to stop the recording for a little bit.